The Robinsons had finished their dinner, and the dining table still held the warmth of the evening, plates stacked neatly, the faint smell of roasted chicken lingering in the air. It was a Thursday night, and like most Thursdays, everyone had settled into their small rituals. Emily, 20 years old and in her second year at university, had started to clear the plates, while her mother, Laura, wiped down the counters. At the head of the table, Robert Robinson leaned back in his chair, flipping through the stack of envelopes the postman had dropped off earlier. Most of it was the usual: credit card offers, flyers, and a notice from the bank. But then his expression shifted when he opened a long white envelope stamped with the electric company's logo. He frowned, scanning the paper once, then again, this time slowly. "This has to be a mistake," he muttered. Laura turned around, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "What's wrong?" Robert laid the paper flat on the table and tapped it. "The electricity bill." "It's almost double what it usually is." Emily paused mid-step, holding two plates in her hands. "Double? Like, how much?" Robert exhaled heavily. $420. Laura blinked. "That can't be right. We've never had a bill that high." Emily carefully set the plates down and came closer. "Maybe they added some extra charges? Like late fees or something?" Robert shook his head. "No, I pay everything on time. This is usage. We've apparently used way more power this month than normal." The room grew quiet. The hum of the refrigerator suddenly felt louder. Laura sat down across from him. "All right, let's think. Have we been using the heater more? It has been cold lately." Robert rubbed his forehead. "We've used it before, but never like this." He glanced at his daughter. "Emily, have you noticed anything?" Emily bit her lip, hesitating. Well, I have been staying up late, working on my art projects. For school." Laura tilted her head. "You always stay up late." "That's nothing new." Emily gave a small, guilty smile. "Yeah, but this time I've been using the electric heater in my room. And the lamp. And the tablet charger. And, okay, maybe I've been leaving them on. Sometimes all night." Robert raised an eyebrow. "All night?" Emily nodded sheepishly. "Yeah, I fall asleep without switching things off. I didn't think it would matter that much." Robert leaned back, letting out a slow sigh. "Well, apparently it does." "Look, I'm not angry." Laura cut in gently. "We just need to be more careful. It's not only about the money, Emily. It's also about responsibility. If we all waste a little, it adds up." Emily sat down beside them. "I get it. I really do. I didn't realize how much it would affect things." The tension in the air softened slightly, replaced by a quiet sense of problem-solving. Robert folded the bill. "All right, no sense in pointing fingers. We'll fix this together. How about we set a plan? Each of us takes responsibility for something." Laura nodded. "That makes sense. For starters, we should all be more mindful about turning off lights when we leave a room." Emily quickly added, "I'll stop leaving the heater and lamps on at night. I can just use a blanket if it gets too cold." Robert tapped the table. "I'll check the water heater settings." Maybe it's running longer than it should, and I'll unplug the garage tools when I'm not using them. Laura smiled. I'll time my laundry loads better. Maybe switch to cold water more often. That should help. Emily grinned. We could even make it fun. Like whoever forgets to switch something off has to do the dishes that night. Robert chuckled for the first time that evening. Now that's a rule I can get behind. The family laughed softly, the earlier heaviness lifting away. What had begun as a worrisome discovery slowly turned into a team discussion, each of them contributing their part. Over the next week, small changes began to show. The living room no longer glowed with forgotten lamps at midnight. Emily made it a point to unplug her tablet as soon as it was charged. Robert replaced a few old bulbs with energy-efficient ones, and Laura bought a clothesline for sunny days, joking about how they were going old-fashioned. One evening, about a month later, the new bill arrived. Robert opened it carefully while the family hovered nearby. His face relaxed into a smile. $220, he announced. Laura let out a small cheer. That's nearly half. Emily clapped her hands together. See? Our teamwork worked. Robert placed the paper on the table, then looked at his wife and daughter. I guess sometimes problems aren't really setbacks. They're just reminders that we have to work together. Laura reached over and squeezed his hand. And maybe reminders that we're luckier than we think. Some families can't pay bills at all. Emily nodded quietly, a newfound sense of responsibility settling in. Next time, I'll be careful before falling asleep with the heater on. Lesson learned. The Robinsons shared a warm moment of silence, their kitchen bathed in soft yellow light. It wasn't a dramatic story, no great tragedy or triumph, just a small family learning to solve a problem together. And in that, there was something quietly beautiful. The reminder that even the most ordinary evenings could bring them closer.